Hi everyone, how you doing today? So today's video I'd like to talk about a feeling of not belonging. So why do we feel the need to belong? And why is it that sometimes we just feel like we don't fit in anywhere? I'm a prime example of that. If you can take a look at where I am, it's very obvious that you wouldn't find a lot of people who look like me. I'm in a place where I stick out like a sore thumb, but that's okay. That's fine. And that's why I decided to make this video today. From the very first moment that we are born, the people around us are preparing us to fit in with a group. The first group being our families, right? We are taught how to behave, who's dad, who's mom, how to respect each other, our siblings. We are given tasks to do at home, and then we start going to school. When we go to school, it's the same thing. We try to fit in with our classmates. We are put into class according to age. We start being put into classes according to age, right? Some kids might be faster than others, but that's something that will come up much later. So we have to fit in with our classmates as well. And then we start forming friend groups where we try to belong and we try to copy each other more or less. You know, if you take note of kids when they are in groups, they tend to do or mimic each other. That's what I wanted to use. They tend to mimic each other. And that's just natural. That's how we as human beings, that's how we are naturally built. We are built to form communities. We are built to work together, because when we work together, when we work as a whole, we work much better and efficiently. Then the question of authenticity comes into play. If we are meant to fit in according to society, how then can we be authentically and truly ourselves? Now, I'm not against belonging to groups, and I'm not against being alone. I think that we should find a balance. When we talk about fitting into the group, not everybody is going to be able to do that. Not everyone's going to fit into a box. Even though nowadays I think that the more we seek authenticity, the more we seek our true selves, the more labels we seem to have, right? The labels being thrown around left, right, and center everywhere. Because in the end, we want to belong somewhere. We want to find our tribe, as they say. Although that is easier said than done, from my experience. So, talking about tribes, I grew up in Nigeria, in a small family. So it wasn't like a huge family that I had to fit into. However, I had extended family as well. I had uncles, aunties, cousins, and all of that. But from a very young age, I just didn't feel like I fitted into that family. I didn't feel that way at all. I'm not sure why. Maybe it was something my parents may have said to me growing up, you know, like, you're a princess, you're special. I have no idea what it might have been, but I just knew I was different. I acted differently. I looked different. I was very skinny compared to the rest of my family, still am. I speak different, and and always have been interested in different things. For example, most of my family would never dream of skiing. Like, they're so scared of heights, they're so scared of anything seemingly dangerous, right? But I am the adventurous one, so I don't fit into my family per se. Now, talking about my society itself, it's the same thing. I don't feel like I belong to my society. The things that people would do, the things that young women would do, I didn't do them, and I don't do them. I'm not interested in them. For example, wigs. I'm not crazy about wigs. I'm not interested in wigs. Makeup, heavy makeup. Oh my gosh, I can't even do that. I look like a baby. I already look so young, much younger than my age, I think. And whenever I try to put on heavy makeup, I feel like I look even younger. Like, I look like a child trying to wear makeup. And so I don't fit into those labels that my society has also drawn out for me. So where then do I belong? Where then do you belong? I don't know if you have a similar experience, if you have similar feelings, then we start thinking that perhaps there's something wrong with us because we don't belong into the groups that we are supposed to belong to. However, after over 40 years living on Earth, I found that belonging doesn't always have to be two groups. What do I mean? I mean that to belong, you don't need to have a big group. You don't need to belong to a specific group. You can create your own group, or you can be your own support system. You can be your own group, basically. Sometimes there are some people like me who thrive much better alone. Uh-oh. Capos. Right. So sometimes there are some people like me who thrive being alone, but we still enjoy the company of other people. We still enjoy being in several groups at the same time and never really belonging to one fully, never really showing any special allegiance to one particular group. And I think that people like me, if you are like me, we are in our own group, but separately. I don't know if that makes any sense. So the need to fit into a particular box doesn't always work for everyone. We are all uniquely made. We are all different. We have different interests. We have different looks, even though, we might look similar in some cases, but there's always something to distinguish us. And if we look around nowadays, many people who are those people who actually find their own tribe are rarer than those of us who haven't. I think it's the opposite. It's the norm not to fit in nowadays. It's the norm to be different and to celebrate your differences. So if you feel like you don't belong, I'd like to tell you that it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not a terrible thing. You fit into your own group of people who don't fit in. You know what I mean? So in all of this, we are being told to find our tribe and all of that. But the truth is we haven't been taught how to be our true selves. We don't really understand what it means to be your true self. And I think that once we are able to find ourselves, once you are able to find yourself, who you really are, who you truly are, and love that person, then you can start attracting similar people to yourself.
If you've ever felt this way and you're wondering what to do about it, here are a few things that I did that helped me immensely. And I hope that perhaps some of them might be able to work out for you as well. The first step that I took once I realized that this fitting in game was not for me was that I let myself feel uncomfortable. And I tried to avoid succumbing to that need to please other people. When we become people pleasers, most of us who are people pleasers, we are those kinds of people who feel like, oh my gosh, I really need validation from this group of people. Maybe it's could be a group of men or a group of women, or perhaps at work. You want to feel like you are one of the cool guys or the cool girls or whatever else it might be. And we tend to become people pleasers. So I tried my best to reduce that part of me. I still try to people please now, but not for the benefit that I'm going to get from that person, but just as an altruistic gesture, just to be pleasing, to be pleasant to other people, just for the sake of it. So once I realized that I didn't need to please people anymore, it became normal for me to just be myself and to come to terms with the discomfort that I was feeling. And the more I did this, the less discomfort I felt, the less uncomfortable I felt. And that was really, it was like a chain being lifted or being broken, because now I don't have to say a particular thing or say a particular sentence or phrase just because I want to make the other person feel happy or I want to make the other person like me, which was the next thing that I did. I stopped seeking validation from other people. I stopped trying to be liked. So I had to get to the point where I realized that not everybody's going to like me, no matter how hard I tried. If you think about it, when I thought about it, I don't like everyone. So why do I expect that everybody's going to like me? So those traits of myself that I would perhaps keep hidden, like my views on a particular topic, whether everyone agrees with that or not, because nowadays you have to be very careful about your points of views and how you express yourself. You don't want to get cancelled. So I would have to hide and pretend. Once I stopped pretending and tried to say things or to do things to make other people like me, I realized that I felt freer. There was this sense of freedom, like, oh yes, I can finally be myself. I can finally I don't have to say everything I have on my mind, but I realized that I don't have to pretend to be a certain way just because I want acceptance from a set of people. So let's take, for example, hair. Okay. Hair for women is a big statement. It is our joy and our pride. And one thing that I stopped doing was I stopped wearing straight, flat, silky, shiny hair because it's just not me. It's not me in the sense that I don't want to be someone else. I want to be myself, and myself, my real self, the way I was born with kinky, coily, not curly, coily African hair, right? And so if I was going to wear anything that was not my hair, I wanted it to look similar to my own personal texture. I wanted to feel pride in my own texture. I didn't want to hide behind something else. I loved my braids. I loved my curly hairs or curly pieces. Those I took pride in. And the more I did those things, the more relaxed I felt in myself, the more confident I felt in myself. And I realized that many people don't even care. Many people don't even care. People actually appreciate you when you come out as yourself, as your authentic self. That brings me to the final thing, which is that I was now able and ready to stop chasing belonging. I was ready to let my light shine, as they would say. And if it was too bright for some people, then so be it. Not every one of us radiates the same kind of shine. Let's put it that way. Not everybody would radiate the same kind of shine. But once we realize that we have similar shines, and I think that what that creates, I believe that what that creates is you don't feel less than or more than somebody else who has a similar shine to yours. I don't know if that makes any sense. So once we stop trying to shine like other people, we are able to discover our own personal shine and perhaps create our own space. And our own space doesn't necessarily have to involve other people. Our own space doesn't necessarily have to have a whole bunch of people. It can have just a few people, those people who actually do mean something to you and you mean something to them. Those people who are ready to appreciate you for who you are without judgments. Those people who are not afraid to honestly criticize you, to honestly tell you the truth, to honestly support you, or to just listen. Sometimes we just need people who will listen to us without trying to outshine us, So once I got to that point, it became easier for me to whittle down people around me, to realize the people who are just around because I please them, not because they actually see me. And that just made life so much simpler and so much easier and enjoyable. I think that's the thing that a lot of people miss when we're trying to fit in, when we're trying to buy the latest shiny thing because our neighbors have it. When we look at the other person's house and we see how greener the grass is on the other side, and we want to be like that. We want to be like them. We want to be in that same space. What we don't realize is we don't actually know what those people are going through. We don't actually know whether those people are happy because they have those things. And that's the fundamental thing. Everybody just wants to be happy. Whether we want to be alone by ourselves or we want to join a group, it's because we are, as humans, fundamentally seeking that one thing in life, happiness. And happiness doesn't have to depend on other people. Happiness starts from within. Happiness starts from you. And once you start being comfortable in your weirdness or in your otherness, then you start to realize the things that actually make you happy. So you start to pursue interests that make you happy. And perhaps you find people who are within the same space, who have the same light, the same shine. And you can then forge your own space. So once I realized this, I became more adaptable. I became more open-minded, more creative, more ready to be adventurous, to enjoy life, to really just enjoy life in the moment rather than seeking validation from other people. And this obviously meant that I could concentrate my energy on those people that actually mattered, those people that actually meant something to me. And that has led me to you. That has led me to you and the realization that I am not alone in feeling this way. There are other people, so many other people who feel this way, and it is okay to feel that way, but what you do after is what matters. What you do to get yourself out of this negative space, this negative feeling of, why can't I be like that person? Why can't I belong? You don't have to belong. Create your own space to thrive, your own space to be that person that you actually want to be. The true self, your true authentic self. So what about you? Have you found your space? Are you creating your space right now? Please let me know. And I hope that you're in a good place in your lives, wherever you are, no matter what you're doing. Remember that you are not alone and you don't have to fit in where you don't actually belong. So until the next video, ciao, ciao.
Bello. Nice.